Hello, I'm Manny Alvarez, Interim County Administrator.
And I'm Jeremy Raley, Superintendent, Goochland County Public Schools.
What follows is a brief presentation about the two bond questions that are before voters this fall.
The proposed bonds on the ballot are a fiscally responsible way to fund both county and schools projects that are vital to the future of our community.
And approval of the referendum questions will not require a tax increase.
During September and October, we will hold several information sessions and will have bond information tables set up at community events. The calendar on the bonds website, goochlandva.us/bonds, is currently up to date and will be updated as additional meetings are set.
We have answers to frequently asked questions on the bonds website, but I encourage you to contact us if you have any additional questions after you have watched this video. You can also call us at the phone number on your screen and someone will promptly return your call.
Funding the county and schools projects with general obligation bonds is good for our community's long-term fiscal health and also helps us get these projects started more quickly. We both thank you for your interest and hope that you find the information in this video to be helpful.
On November 2nd, 2021, two ballot questions will ask Goochland County voters whether the county should be authorized to issue up to $96 million in general obligation bonds to pay for improvements to public facilities. Voters will respond yes or no to each question. The proposed bond amounts are up to $60 million for school projects and up to $36 million for public safety projects. The first question on the ballot relates to school projects. The projects include the construction and equipping of a new elementary school, improvements to modernize and upgrade existing middle and high school facilities, and improvements to roads and existing parking lots to facilitate traffic flow on the roads leading to and from the new elementary school and existing middle and high school facilities. The second question on the ballot relates to county projects. The projects include the construction and equipping of a courthouse, including related law enforcement facilities, and constructing and equipping a fire station. What is a bond? Bonds are a means of financing projects and are loans to pay for capital projects. The bonds or loans are repaid through regular principal and interest payments. The principal and interest payments are often referred to as debt service. You may be asking, why bonds? Using bonds to pay for the proposed projects would help ensure that they are started and completed more quickly. Additionally, issuing bonds stabilizes the year-to-year cost for capital projects and spreads the cost of long-life major projects over time. For the proposed projects, the county plans to issue general obligation or GO bonds. Under state law, counties are required to secure voter approval through a referendum before issuing GO bonds. Cities do not have this requirement. General obligation bonds are usually the least expensive way to borrow money to fund long-term capital projects. Because the county has a GO credit rating of AAA from 2 rating agencies, the county generally may obtain lower interest rates on GO bonds than on other bonds. Lower interest rates are beneficial to taxpayers. Each year, the Board of Supervisors approves a capital improvement program budget. This budget outlines construction and maintenance projects for the county and the schools. For several years, the projects that would be funded by the proposed bonds have been identified as priorities in the county's Capital Improvement Program, or CIP. The first question we often get asked is, will approval of the bonds increase the county tax rate of 53 cents per $100 of assessed value? The short answer is no. It is important to note, however, that a homeowner's tax bill may rise in the future due to increased property values. Any tax bill increase related to property values is not tied to the ballot questions. The rate of 53 cents per $100 of assessed value will remain the same and will not be adjusted as a result of this bond referendum. Before we move to the specific projects that would be funded by approval of the bonds, I'd like to make sure that you are aware of our bond referendum website. On that site, we have posted answers to frequently asked questions, including many relating to the details of the process of financing the proposed projects. If you have any specific financing questions, I encourage you to visit that site. If you have a question that is not addressed in the FAQs, you can send in your question via the email address on the site, and we will get you an answer to your question. Now I'd like to start sharing information about the projects that the bonds would fund. First up are the schools projects. To meet the academic needs of students, instruction requires facilities that include collaborative and flexible spaces. A new 650-student elementary school designed to educate and inspire our next generation will also provide for additional classroom capacity across the division, allowing for the removal of trailers from both Byrd and Randolph elementary schools. The current Goochland Elementary School was built in 1964 and has served our community well, but it has surpassed its useful life. There is no gym in the current building, and students must walk across parking lots to get to the former GHS gym behind the county administration building. The GES library is the size of a single classroom and cannot accommodate more than one class at a time. The current preschool classrooms are housed in a separate building that is over 40 years old and has significant systems issues. In addition to the high school, will meet the needs of our CTE programs, support our STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math instruction, and provide much needed fine arts and athletic practice spaces. Offering CTE classes on site at the current high school will enhance recruiting efforts and increase participation, as students will no longer need to travel to a separate facility. Goochland High School is one of only 3 schools in VHSL Region 3B without an auxiliary gym. With the lack of adequate practice spaces, students and student athletes must currently practice in the cafeteria with other practices in the late evening, impacting both study and homework and family time. Additionally, renovations to the interior of both the middle school and high school to modernize classrooms and provide additional space for our fine arts programs would address space issues for our band program. Anyone who has been in or seen the traffic jams that currently occur on Bulldog Way on a daily basis knows why these additions and improvements are necessary. Traffic backs up on Route 6 and Bulldog Way to both enter and exit the campus, creating safety concerns when vehicles stop on the main thoroughfares, and some students are required to walk to the outer edge of school property for student pickup in the afternoon, creating supervision and safety concerns. School visitors currently park on adjacent fields and green spaces along Bulldog Way and in other illegal spaces during large events. Additionally, buses are sometimes needed to bring staff, families, and citizens from other parking lots because there are no parking lots within a quarter-mile walking distance from the school. New Bulldog Way turn lanes and new routing in the parking lots will allow buses, students, and parents to get in and out of the GMS-GHS complex more quickly, and the size of the new elementary school has been factored into the design of proposed road and parking lot improvements. Now, let's talk about the county projects in the second bond question. Our community's courthouse is a beautiful building with great significance to our community. However, much has changed since 1827, and our community needs a new courthouse to meet those changing needs. Let me alleviate one concern you might have. The historic courthouse and all of the historic buildings on the courthouse green will remain. Construction of the new courthouse will not interfere with these buildings, and they will not be torn down to build a new courthouse. There are many benefits of a new courthouse. One significant benefit is that the new courthouse will house, in one building, offices for the circuit court, clerk of the circuit court, general district court and clerk, juvenile court, adult and juvenile probation, the Commonwealth's attorney, and the sheriff's court security staff. And the new courthouse will have central visitor screening, enhanced security for courthouse personnel, and expanded secure holding facilities. Eastern Goochland is the fastest growing area in the county and is designated for growth in the county's comprehensive plan. Fire rescue service needs have changed in the county as the types of structures have changed. Space and safety needs are not currently met because the county's older fire stations cannot accommodate the equipment and number of staff needed for the overall increasing volume of fire and emergency medical calls. A new, larger fire station will provide the space, equipment, and technology that best protects the health and safety of fire rescue personnel and allows for 24/7 staffing. For example, larger bunk rooms and equipment that collects exhaust fumes are just two features of newer fire rescue stations. The new fire station will be located centrally in this growing area, within 1 mile of the Mosaic at West Creek Development and Tuckahoe Creek Development, within 1 to 3 miles of Sheltering Arms Rehabilitation Hospital, the Residence Inn Hotel, West Creek 2000 Apartment Complex, Reeder's Branch Neighborhood, the Mannequin Town proposed mixed-use development, and within 3 to 5 miles of Oak Hill proposed apartment complex and the Tuckahoe Pines Senior Living Development. About 1/3 of the time, calls in the Eastern End are being covered by stations from other parts of the county. So building a station in the Eastern End will decrease response times because other stations will be available to respond to calls in their area. To keep you in the loop, a fire rescue station for District 2 is also in the planning stages. The county is currently seeking an appropriately located parcel on which to build a District 2 fire station. The District 2 fire station is included in the county's capital improvement plan, with construction anticipated to start in about 7 years. One caveat in the interest of transparency. Specifics of these projects may change, but the bond funds will be used for the projects included in the bond questions. If one or both of the bond referendum questions does not gain the support of a majority of voters, the county cannot issue general obligation bonds to fund the identified projects. GO bonds are not the only funding source available. The county could pursue the projects with alternative funding sources. However, GO bonds traditionally carry lower overall borrowing costs when compared to other funding options and therefore are considered the most prudent method to finance long-term capital projects. Early voting starts September 17th and the election date is November 2nd. For voting districts and voting location information, visit the website at goochlandva.us/359/elections-and-voter-registration or call 804-556-5803. For more info, visit the website at goochlandva.us/bonds. To see frequently asked questions and to request a presentation form, just email gvabonds2021@goochlandva.us or call 804-556-5828. Thank you for your valuable time and for allowing us to share information about the referendum and these important projects. All of these projects will have a lasting, positive impact on our community, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have at this time.